Hey Tanner, this is Keaton Everett with ABC going over your pitching video from camp. We're going to go through and talk a little bit about your mechanics and kind of look at it at a couple spots. We're going to look at how you're setting up, where your setup is, where you're breaking your hands. We're going to look at how are you using your legs. We're going to look at your foot strike. So once that front foot first hits the ground, we're going to be able to kind of see if you're using your legs correctly, if your arms are in a good spot. We're going to look at how you're finishing. Basically for you, a lot of this is more legs for you. You got to start using that lower half a little bit more, and I'll talk a little bit more about it in a second. But lower half is so key with pitching. It's a hard movement too. Physically, it's tough to do at your age. But the more we can kind of work on it now and kind of address it, the easier it's going to be when you start getting stronger. But the hips and the legs and how we use them dictates so much about how much velocity we're creating and how much power we're using. So the biggest focus for me with everyone is always that lower half and what it's doing. So we'll look at foot strike too. So once that front foot hits the ground, that foot strike is going to tell us a lot of how we're working, how that lower body's working. It's going to show us if we're in a nice healthy position, and so we'll kind of go from there. So first off the bat, all right. I don't know if you have runners on base yet, but once runner gets on base, or leading off, if base runners can lead off on you yet, but when you start getting a stretch this wide out, not only does it lead to box, all right, because a lot of times I've seen kids, because they're so far spread out, that as they try to start their motion, their foot might get caught in the ground. Something might happen where they kind of hesitate, their foot might slip. Something happens where, they get caused for a balk, and that's just not, that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't have a big complicated setup where something can go wrong. There's just too much that can go wrong here. Once runners start leading off, they can even kind of take advantage of that, take a big lead. You can't really do a snap throw from here, when you're taking your sign to step off and throw. So this is just, I wouldn't recommend this position. If it's something you have to do, then fine, but it's just something that creates too much problems and no benefits for it. So just something that, come set somewhere right around here, and then that's going to make it easier for you to stay loaded up on your backside, get in that right position to come set a little bit easier. All right. So once you kind of come to your secondary set right here, all right, everything looks pretty good. All right. I just want to make sure that you're not equal weight right here, 50-50. We want to try to make sure that we're loaded up on this backside. That inside part of that knee's loaded, that hip's loaded up, that foot's loaded up. We're about 80-20. It's something where you're loaded up on that backside, ready to go. All right? And try to keep these elbows a little more lax. All right? We just want to try to see, elbows, we don't ever want those elbows out on the side. We just want a nice relaxed position, elbows to the side, so we can just be more in a more comfortable position to start. All right? So you get your leg up. So through that leg kick, so once that first leg starts going up, all right, everything's looking pretty good. Now the fact that you're not loaded up on that backside, you can start seeing yourself really starting to go forward before your hands are breaking. All right, it's fine to have a little bit of movement. All right, but you're just getting to a point where it's just a little bit too much. All right, if I draw a box over your head, you can see how you're almost down in the box before that leg goes down, before those hands break. All right. We want to try to get to a spot where we're still over our backside. There can be a little bit of movement forward, but we want to get to a point where our leg goes down, our hips lead, and our hands break. So at this point, you can kind of see that your weight's kind of shifted out over this kind of dead space in front of you. We still want to be back over here before we get going. All right. So you're doing a good job at leading with your hips through the initial part, getting going. As you can see, your hands sweep out from your body. Usually we like to keep them closer into your body because it creates swinging out, especially for you, is going to create this glove and this front side to open up early. So as you're going to watch, you can see that glove just come through and pull off early. So you can see how this glove's completely gone. We want to try to see that glove out over that front foot. So because you pop down and out, that just gives your glove more incentive to come out and swing around and open up early. All right. So just something to think about. Just keep that glove tucked into your body. All right. You're driving your legs good. Now we're going to look at where you are at foot strike. So you can see that because you're rushing initially, you're going to see that front foot. You're going to see that heel land. All right. Heel land is fine. But it's almost this is just a little much where you can see a couple frames that heel, and now your foot's finally flat there. We want to try to get your foot, more so landed here for your first shot. All right, and all that is you're just rushing, and you're just forward with everything. You can see your body and your head is somewhere kind of over the midline of your body, but we still want to have it still back a little bit of ways. We don't want to see this kind of angle with that body. All right. And so at foot strike here, you got your arm's in a good spot. All right. We don't want to see this wrist bent so much. We want to try to see your hands on top of the ball a little bit more. But the biggest thing for you is just to keep that elbow closed and that glove out over that front foot a little bit longer. So as you rotate through, you have a good sense of torque for your age especially. Torque is the ability for this back hip to start turning before that shoulder. All right, so you see that hip starting to turn, and then that shoulder's coming. We just need to get this from flying out. All right. Another thing that's causing is you're going to watch through your release. Is you're going to start seeing this foot slide forward. You're going to watch this back leg. You're going to see that start sliding forward, and you're releasing the ball. We'll go back one frame, and you're releasing the ball over that back heel. Alright, and then it's almost like you're kind of releasing almost straight up a little bit. There's a little bit of bend in that back, but you're going to see this kind of angle here. You're going to see that angle, and then that straight down like this. It's almost like your knees dragging on the ground, but what we want to see at that release point is we want to try to see more of a triangular angle, more of a smoother angle, and it's going to be something like this. So you're staying through that leg longer, which in turn is going to get your head out farther, which is going to get you releasing the ball closer. So we basically just want to get to a point where we're releasing that ball and that head's down over that front foot, and we're creating a little bit less of an angle here. We're not sinking that leg, we're not getting that knee underneath our backside. We're driving everything through that back leg out over that front foot, and you're going to start seeing this leg, instead of kind of staying on the ground here, you're going to start seeing it start driving, staying long, and then just start driving up and over your body instead of just kind of dragging on the ground and not really finishing up. In this position, we want to see that leg, something like this, that foot above your hips, and you're just driving everything out over that front side. So the biggest thing is just that left glove. You're just popping it open early, but you just need to stay back. Keep your glove tucked closer to your body, and just use those hips, use those legs to get going, because you already have a good sense of torque. Now it's just a matter of staying back, staying through those legs a little longer, and getting on top of that ball and driving it downhill instead of kind of pushing through it. So anyways, hopefully you had a great time at camp. I hope you're having an awesome season this year, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC.